this video, we're going to recreate a stock part in SolidWorks. That's a good place to start if you're a new member of an Aero design team. You're going to want to practice your CADing mechanics before you're designing your own parts for the team's assemblies, or you're designing parts and assemblies within the team's assemblies. So here we have this air manufacturing wheel. We're going to start off with a series of pictures and measurements of the stock wheel, and we'll end up with a finished CADed wheel here in SolidWorks. So just a quick technicality, if we were designing this for manufacturing, we would have to design it as an assembly of the rim and the tire. But since we buy this wheel as a stock part with the tire already installed, and we're never going to uninstall it, we can CAD the whole thing as one part. So let's get started. So I've just activated a key and mouse display overlay here down here. So this is not part of SolidWorks. It's just going to help us keep track of which keys and mouse inputs that I'm pressing. So I'm going to start off with Control N for new, and we'll select a part. And that brings us to this sort of blank realm here where we can see this is where our display of our part and our geometry is going to come in. And down here we have axes, so we can hold the middle mouse button down and rotate around, but nothing's changing in the middle here because there's nothing here yet. So although we do see that the part has come in with some standard origin and planes, the front, top, and right plane. And if we highlight them, we can see them, but we can actually visualize them constantly by pressing this button up here. And now we see the front plane, top plane, and right plane. To get a feel for how these planes might be used in our wheel, we can take a look at the planes in the full aircraft assembly that the wheel's going to go into. So let's take a look at an airplane assembly here. So we can see that we can tell easily from the model what's front, what's top, and what's right. So let's take a look at the assembly. Also, it has its stock plane. So here in the convention I used for this one, the front plane, and we can actually, if we want to look perpendicular to the plane, we don't have to play around with the mouse. We can actually press spacebar, and then we have all the views here. We can just click on a face, and now we see normal here. So this is the front plane. We can see with the nose of the airplane aimed towards us, and the right plane over here is straight down the middle of the fuselage. You can also click on, that's equivalent to pressing spacebar, that button up there. So here's the right plane. You can see that in the right plane, our wheel is going to look like a circle here. And if we rotate and look down the front plane, then we can see the wheel will look like that. Going back to our new part, we're going to use these planes in the same orientation as the convention of our main aircraft assembly. Okay, so we're going to start adding references for what the wheel looks like from the right plane. Let's start off with. So we can go into a sketch and let's just take a look at the picture. So we have the circular view of the wheel in the right plane, and we have a first measurement of 3.25 inches for the outer diameter of the tire. So let's go ahead and let's put a circle in. So we can put it anywhere here, and at first the lines are going to be blue, so that means they're unconstrained. So I can move this around, I can change its diameter. So we need to add constraints to position it and size it. So I'm just going to hold Control, select the origin, and coincident that. So it moves into position, and now I can no longer drag it because of this coincident, but I can still change the diameter. So let's dimension that to 3.25 inches. And I didn't really have to type inches because I have the units down here set as inches. but so that works. So we're going to change it into construction geometry. So we're not going to use these to make features directly. So that's our first reference. So what else do we have here? Let's maybe use, so the measurement for the outer diameter of the rim now, that's where the tire ends and the rim starts. That's 2.25, so let's put that in. And we can also, I have auto relation on here, so you can see that when I start to get close to a relation that it could add here, it's that yellow symbol is telling me it can add in automatically in this case it's concentric. So especially when our sketches are not too busy, that's nice to have. It adds in for us, saves some time. So we've got that one in. Oops. Now let's take a look at, so let's not add too many of these. Let's just do also that's the smallest diameter that we're going to look at. That's the inner surface of where the axle passes through, even smaller than where the bearing sits. So that's 0.4375. So let's put that one in also. .4375. So there we go. We've got some references to start off with. So our strategy here is going to be to use the symmetry of the wheel. So if we get out of that sketch and we look at it from this side, it's flat. There's no geometry to it at all. So what we're going to do is get into the front plane and I'm going to use just an approximate sketch of what the wheel looks like. So from the front, kind of looks like that, and then we can put the tire in there. So I'll create an arc, tangent arc, just like that. And you can see that that's shaded in now. So SolidWorks can tell this is ready to create a feature because it is a closed sketch. So we can get out of here, and you can see this minus symbol in here. That means that the sketch is unconstrained. Our previous one, if you go in there, get into the sketch, all the lines are black. They're all construction as well. That sketch is constrained. This one is not because it's blue, so that means there's some lines in here. So this line, the line is black, so we can't move it side to side, but the end point of the line is blue, so we can still move that around. And the other unconstrained geometry kind of tries to do its best to follow. So right now we're not going to, whoops, that was an accident. Get rid of that. Control Z will do that. So we're not going to constrain it yet. We're just going to make a sort of a mock-up of the procedure of the features that will make this wheel. So if we get out of this sketch, we can use here in the features a revolve. The thing is, we need an axis, so can't really choose an axis yet. We don't have one. So we're going to go back into the sketch and create a line about the origin. Make it horizontal. This one's going to be construction line. I'll just give it an arbitrary length of 1 inch. So now we have an axis. So we can use that to revolve here. And it already figured out that that line is the axis, although we can go and select it. So that kind of looks like half the wheel here, so we can just go ahead and press OK. Kind of looks like half of one. So we're definitely going to need to also mirror this. So that will be over here. So we're going to choose, we can either just select straight here or go into the tree, which is always up here for us to select and put things into the menus. So we're going to select the mirror plane is the right plane here. And the features, we're going to mirror the revolve. That goes through. So it kind of looks like a wheel, it just needs the cutouts. So our strategy for that is going to be, we're going to sketch on the right plane. We're going to create just sort of a arc here. Another one. Close it up. And then exit that. Use that to do a cut. And you can see the standard direction it's choosing is to go this way and be blind. We're actually only halfway through the wheel, so even if I extend this, it's only going to cut halfway through the wheel, so I'm going to choose, actually just go through both. So that will make sure to get through everything. So that's a cut. So we can create a pattern with that. We can use the circular pattern. From this, we can choose, let's go and choose to show this sketch so that we can choose this axis. So when the features get created, they usually hide their sketches that are contained in them, but we can go and show them again to still use them as a reference. So the circular pattern will go about this direction. We're going to do it 90. And there we go.